King, Terence Bud Crawford, has agreed in principle to face off against the four-division world champion, Mexican superstar first ballot Hall of Famer, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez has agreed. Terence Crawford, we knew he was going to agree. And they're working out the details to showcase their talents. Riyadh season, Cinco de Mayo weekend in May.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Hell of a fight. Hell of a fight.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's really, really hard for me to see Canelo losing to Crawford. But it's also, there's things that I can see that Crawford is so good at.
Yeah.
That it's like, I can't see him not being able to be sharp and do that round after round, man.
Canelo versus Crawford is shaping up to be a true clash of skill and strength, but the big question remains, can Crawford overcome the odds and succeed in a higher weight class? Let's see what the pros have to say. Saber Longa believes Crawford's legendary skills might just defy the odds against Canelo, though the weight difference could still prove to be a major challenge for the reigning welterweight champion.
It happened in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said,
Andre Rozier, a renowned boxing trainer, has shared his thoughts on the possibility of Terence Crawford stepping up to face Canelo Alvarez. While Crawford is coming off a dominant win at welterweight, Rozier believes that moving up to challenge Canelo in a higher weight class might be a bridge too far.
Possibly do at this point to regain that status is to beat someone of note in another weight class.
Rozier acknowledges that Crawford's move to 150 pounds might be a realistic step, but he firmly doubts the success of a jump to face Canelo, calling it a dangerous leap. He questioned, "Do I think he can beat Canelo? No, I do not."
Four is going to be enough for him. Him going up to fighting, quote unquote, if it should happen, Canelo, I don't see that ending well. It's just too much and too far to go. But that's what
Rozier's warning highlights the monumental task Crawford would face in taking on a pound-for-pound star like Canelo, especially with such a significant weight disadvantage. The question now is, is Crawford biting off more than he can chew, or could he shock the world once again? Canelo Alvarez has revealed his thoughts on a potential fight with Terence Crawford, fueling excitement among boxing fans worldwide and adding more heat to the growing buzz surrounding this highly anticipated matchup.
Yes, it is official that the pound-for-pound king, four-division world champion, two-division undisputed world champion, and reigning WBA junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer, Terence Bud Crawford, future first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated, 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 37 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, has agreed in principle. We knew he was going to agree to face off against the four-division world champion, Mexican superstar first ballot Hall of Famer, former undisputed super middleweight world champion, and reigning unified super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo.
Mexican boxer Canelo Alvarez has, in a way, confirmed his readiness to face Terence Crawford, creating buzz around what could become one of the most anticipated fights in boxing today, a potential showdown between two elite fighters at the very pinnacle of their careers.
His name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if it's a fight.
The fight between Canelo and Crawford promises to be monumental. Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has dominated his division with power and precision, while Crawford, widely regarded as one of the most skilled fighters of this era, brings a combination of technical brilliance and intelligent strategy that has propelled him to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings.
The fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terence Crawford is a great fighter.
Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, hasn't shied away from the chance of facing Terence Crawford in the ring, while Crawford's leap into a higher weight class has sparked debate. Canelo remains confident in his ability to dominate the smaller fighter. Speaking on Sway's Universe, he made it clear that he's not only open to the challenge but sees it as an opportunity to make a bold statement.
I mean, to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford. Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, comes down.
That'll work. And so if yeah, you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy.
Canelo's remarks reflect his belief that the weight disparity gives him a major edge over Crawford. With a track record of dismantling elite opponents at super middleweight, he seems to view the potential clash more as a financial opportunity than a serious threat. However, for fans and analysts, Crawford's skill set and determination could make this fight far more unpredictable than Canelo anticipates. While Canelo Alvarez has shown genuine interest in a potential showdown with Terence Crawford, he also offered deeper insight into his thoughts on the matchup, openly acknowledging the challenges of facing a highly skilled opponent like Crawford. Despite his reservations, the undisputed champion revealed that the fight could happen under the right circumstances, especially if the financial stakes are high enough.
I'm in, because I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So
Canelo's words highlight the complexities of making this fight a reality. While he acknowledges Crawford's talent, he remains confident in the natural advantages his weight class provides. At the same time, his remarks about money and stylistic preferences suggest that, for Canelo, the matchup is more about the spectacle and payday than pure competitive allure. This adds another layer to the growing debate: can Crawford's skill overcome the weight disparity, or is Canelo right to rely on the limits of weight classes? Notably, this statement marks a shift for Canelo, who had previously expressed reluctance to face Crawford, citing the lack of credit he'd received for defeating a smaller opponent.
Everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 ways class.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter. And I always say that, no disrespect him. But, sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
And I can't go down anymore. But like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, and then
Meanwhile, Crawford has shown persistence in pursuing the matchup, demonstrating his willingness to move up 2 weight classes in order to prove his dominance and solidify his legacy.
To Jamel, and then you guys fight. That fight would be gigantic.
And it's crazy because, like, in the past interviews, I was like, man, Canelo too big, man. It's weight classes for a reason. And I was like, nah. But in my mind, in my heart, I don't think nobody too big, especially in a fight. I'm a fighter. But, like, I was thinking, like, man, it could happen. So you start really sitting down like, man, that fight maybe can happen. Okay, so now
Crawford is fully aware of the physical disadvantage he would face against Canelo, admitting that size will play a crucial role in the fight. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome the challenge and impose his boxing style, trusting his skills and ring IQ to level the playing field.
But I'm faster, and so then you start doing the advantages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, man, we right there.
Yeah.
We right there, you know what I mean? So I was like, man,
And it's not like he didn't go up and win.
Keith Thurman, a former world champion and current boxing analyst, recently broke down why Terence Crawford might see weaknesses in Canelo Alvarez, drawing from Canelo's performance against Jermall Charlo. Thurman highlighted specific moments in the fight that could fuel Crawford's belief in his chances. His detailed observations suggest that Crawford's strategic mind may be identifying patterns and vulnerabilities that others overlook.
And when Canelo fought Charlo, besides the knockdown, Charlo was able to protect himself very well against Canelo's onslaught. The only problem was, while protecting himself, there was no...
Thurman emphasized how Charlo's defensive adjustments helped him mitigate damage after the knockdown, but also pointed out his lack of counterattacks, which allowed Canelo to control the fight. He suggested that Crawford, known for his adaptability and offensive creativity, likely sees an opportunity to exploit these moments by blending strong defense with calculated aggression.
Seeing what I saw, I believe Crawford saw the same thing. If Charlo can go so untouched by just being, once he got dropped, spider senses, boom, fully awakened, right? Boom. So now hands up, don't make no mistakes. So, that's how it is. We saw it in the Munguia fight. We saw it in the last fight. It's those little mistakes that end up having big consequences against.
Thurman's insight paints a picture of Crawford meticulously studying Canelo's recent fights to find exploitable gaps in his offense. While Charlo leaned heavily on defense to survive, Crawford may aim to combine similar tactics with his boxing IQ to not only neutralize Canelo's power but also create scoring opportunities. However, Thurman also emphasized the high stakes involved. One mistake against Canelo can instantly turn the tide.
Trash. Don't ever compare Crawford to Canelo again. Shout out young Triple G. He did his. I felt he won. At least a draw. The judges. You weirdos. You guys suck ass. And Crawford, you're not pound for pound. Sucking. You never fought nobody good. You fought Spence that had a car accident.
There are few legitimate opponents left for Canelo outside of David Benavidez and Terence Crawford, but a showdown between Canelo and Crawford, especially if held in the US, could potentially break the mythical 1 million pay-per-view sales barrier. Of Crawford's PPV events, his dominant win over Errol Spence was by far the most successful, selling to 700,000 homes in the US alone. Canelo, meanwhile, has fought 16 times on pay-per-view, reaching a combined 11.6 million homes and generating nearly $1 billion in revenue. There are even reports that Turkey Al-Sheikh could fund the fight to take place in Las Vegas, although nothing has been officially confirmed. Still, when it comes to money, few speak louder than the Saudi billionaire, who has become known for offering athletes unrefusable sums to make the fights he wants to see. And he still wants Canelo versus Crawford. It would be a fascinating clash between two modern-day greats. Crawford, 41-0 with 31 knockouts and already a 4-weight champion, would be giving up significant weight to fight Canelo at 168 pounds, a challenge he said he's willing to take. Canelo, now 34 and turning 35 in July, may have slowed slightly with age, perhaps just enough for Crawford to outslick him and win a decision. Then again, Crawford is 37, and while he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down, it could happen at any moment, and this would be the worst possible stage for that to occur. So, should the fight take place in May, and if it's not Crawford, then who? But if it is Canelo versus Crawford on May 3rd, in what could be Crawford's moment of daring to be great, the whole world will be watching. The question remains, will Crawford's technical brilliance be enough to overcome Canelo's power, or is the size difference simply too much? Share your thoughts in the comments.